You found this message for a reason, and the timing is not an accident. Something in you already knows that today carries a current too strong to be silenced, too wild to be controlled. If you are a Virgo, or if Virgo energy flows strongly in your chart, this is your confirmation that what you feel rising inside is not chaos, it is power. You have walked into the right moment, and the question is whether you will recognize the signs before they pass. There are forces that try to keep you small, to bind you in silence, but on this day, no chain holds. Many have carried the quiet discipline of Virgo like armor, often misunderstood, often underestimated. You are the one who does the work no one sees, who holds the structure others lean on, who absorbs storms in silence. Yet beneath that silence burns a flame no hand can smother. Today, that flame finds oxygen. You may already sense it in your body, a restlessness, a tightening in the chest, a surge of clarity that refuses to be ignored. These are not random sensations. They are signals that the cosmic test has arrived. This is not a day for everyone. Some will scroll past and never feel the weight of what is unfolding. But for those who stayed, who heard the pull in these words, this is your doorway. October the 4th is more than a date. It is a marker, a seal in your timeline. The energy here whispers a promise and a warning. Miracles and breakthroughs await those who align, while karmic traps and old snares linger for those who refuse to listen. Which side you experience depends on whether you choose awareness or denial. You do not need to have every detail figured out to walk through this moment. What matters is your openness to recognize that something larger than logic is at play. The cosmic architecture around you has shifted, and Virgo, long tested in patience, is now tested in sovereignty. Can you hold your own center when external forces try to shake it? That is the essence of this hour. Stay with me through this unfolding, because what comes next is not vague inspiration, it is a map. You will see what this portal truly is, how it operates, the 3 unmistakable signs that prove it is real, and most importantly, how to act so that the current lifts you instead of drowns you. And at the end, a decree will be spoken that seals your new line of destiny. Virgo, your journey has not been one of loud victories, but of silent endurance. For years, you have carried the weight of responsibility in a world that often mistook your discipline for rigidity and your silence for weakness. How many times have you felt overlooked, as if your effort vanished into the shadows while others were celebrated for less? This is not coincidence. It is part of the shaping, the preparation for the very hour you are stepping into now. The truth is that your quiet labor has been sacred. Every seed you planted in silence was recorded in the invisible realm, seen by eyes greater than human recognition. Where others saw only routine, the higher order saw resilience. While people underestimated you, the universe was engraving your effort into the fabric of destiny. That is why this day feels like a turning of scales, a balancing act of justice. Private pain transforms into public honor, and the world will have no choice but to notice what has been hidden in plain sight. Your silence has never been emptiness. It has been preparation. Just as soil must rest before harvest, your restraint has been the ground where miracles now prepare to bloom. And though at times it seemed as if the weight of invisibility was punishment, it was in truth your shield. You were not buried, Virgo. You were planted. Today that seed splits open with unstoppable force. This is more than personal recognition. It is the breaking of ancient chains. You are not only moving forward for yourself, but also untangling karmic knots woven through generations before you. Where your ancestors endured control and limitation, you now stand as the one chosen to break that cycle. That is why the pressure has been so heavy, because the work you carry is not only yours, but a collective healing that runs through your bloodline. Do not mistake this calling as mere inspiration. It is the deep shift of a destiny that can no longer be delayed. The signs are already around you: strange dreams, sudden feelings of déjà vu, moments where time bends and you sense a presence greater than yourself. These are not random. They are whispers of confirmation. And if you are ready to understand why today carries such intensity, then it is time to lift the veil and see the mystical frame that holds this entire moment together. What unfolds today is not random chance, but a carefully designed architecture of spirit. October the 4th holds the vibration of a miracle portal, a hidden doorway engineered in the unseen realms to test, to release, and to empower. It is as if the universe itself has aligned threads of destiny to converge on this exact hour, and Virgo, the one who cannot be controlled, stands at the center of it. What you feel around you, the tension, the sudden bursts of awareness, the unusual synchronicities, is the signal that the gate has opened. Astrologically, this day echoes the waning moon, the phase where release carries more power than grasping. The waning moon is not about accumulation, it is about surrender. For Virgo, this means shedding the old expectations, the invisible chains of perfectionism, the rules imposed by others who tried to dictate your worth. The cosmic current says clearly, let go or be dragged. The energy does not punish, it purifies. Those who cling will feel the pull of karmic traps. Those who release will step into freedom. This is also a time when the label of the cosmic test becomes real. It is not an exam written on paper, but an activation of ancient memory. Old patterns rise to the surface, demanding choice. Will you repeat them, or will you shatter them once and for all? The intensity you feel is not chaos. It is a recalibration of timelines. This is why many Virgos report heavy dreams, visions of past failures, or flashes of clarity that feel almost prophetic. These are not accidents. They are proof that the invisible layers are being stirred. Numerology marks this day with the vibration of 777, the number of spiritual luck and divine alignment. Seeing it in dreams, on clocks, or in unexpected places is not coincidence. It is confirmation that you are walking inside the prophecy of breakthrough. Each appearance of this number is like a celestial stamp, sealing your steps with reassurance that you are exactly where you must be. Fear has no place here. Awareness is the shield. This portal is not here to destroy you, but to awaken you. It whispers, not shouts, and only those tuned to its frequency will hear. Virgo, you are being asked not to fear the weight of this moment, but to recognize it as your invitation. The frame has been set, and now the first sign begins to reveal itself, clear and undeniable. The first sign that cannot be ignored today is the breakthrough of voice. For too long, Virgo, you have been expected to remain silent, to nod politely while others attempted to control the narrative of your life. But on this day, the silence cracks. What once felt heavy on your chest now rises with unstoppable force. The words you once swallowed now demand to be spoken, and your truth, once buried beneath layers of discipline and fear of conflict, stands tall with clarity. This is not rebellion for the sake of noise. It is sovereignty, the sacred act of reclaiming your voice. You may notice the symptoms already: a restlessness in conversations where you cannot pretend to agree anymore, a sudden courage in meetings where your ideas come out clear and sharp, unafraid of judgment, a gentle but firm refusal to be manipulated, whether at work, in relationships, or within family structures. The body itself may signal this shift with tightness in the throat or sudden releases of energy when you finally speak what has long been held back. These are not random, they are the birth pangs of freedom. Picture it: a Virgo at work, long accustomed to nodding while others take credit, finally saying, "No, that was my idea." At first, the air grows heavy, the room silent. But then, a quiet strength fills the space, undeniable and unshakable. This is not aggression. It is the authority of truth. Those who tried to control you will recognize in that moment that the old power they held no longer binds you. The greatest mistake now would be to retreat back into silence, believing that peace is found by avoiding discomfort. That error would chain you once again. The energy of this portal demands that you step forward, not back. The immediate protocol is simple. Ground yourself with one deep breath, plant your feet firmly on the earth, and declare one clear statement of truth aloud. It does not need to be long, but it must be honest. That act alone aligns you with the portal's current. Whisper to yourself, or shout if you must. My voice is my shield. Feel the vibration of the words travel through your body. This is not only protection, it is activation. And as you anchor this first sign, the deeper cosmic explanation of why such breakthroughs shake the soul begins to rise, preparing you for the revelations that follow. The force behind this day does not emerge from nowhere. It is written into the invisible mechanics of the cosmos. Imagine a conjunction, when energies gather into one concentrated point. Everything becomes amplified, undeniable, and impossible to ignore. That is what is pressing against Virgo now, a convergence of currents that magnify both the shadow and the light. The effect is unmistakable. What was once subtle becomes loud, and what was once buried surfaces with urgency. You are not imagining the intensity. The design is intentional. Spiritually, this alignment means your soul is being pushed into visibility. For years, you have been content to serve quietly, to build in the background, to offer stability while others took the spotlight. But the portal of this day refuses invisibility. It drags the essence of who you are into the open, demanding that the world sees what it once overlooked. This is why emotions run so high, why encounters feel charged, why you sense that every choice carries more weight than usual. The unseen is pressing through the seen, yet with every force of activation comes duality. This energy is a blessing when honored, but can turn into chaos when denied. If you accept your voice, your truth, your sovereignty, the current lifts you into clarity and freedom. If you suppress it, the same current turns turbulent, shaking relationships, jobs, or inner peace until you can no longer ignore what must be faced. It is not punishment, it is alignment correcting itself. Even science whispers the metaphor of this intensity. Solar flares disturb the magnetic field of Earth, just as unseen bursts of cosmic electricity can disturb the energy field around us. When pressure builds, systems either recalibrate or collapse. In your soul, the same principle operates. This day is that solar flare, that storm of light, disrupting stagnation so that what is false can fall away and what is true can stand. Virgo, the gift hidden inside this turbulence is clarity. No longer can confusion or control hold power over you. But the cost of clarity is choice. You cannot drift in silence anymore. The current will force a decision, stand in sovereignty or sink in old patterns. And as this deeper cosmic truth reveals itself, the inner battlefield comes into focus, where heart and mind collide in the struggle for your next chapter. Inside you now rages a quiet but relentless war. It is not fought with swords or voices raised in anger, but with the pull between two opposing forces: the heart and the mind, the intuition and the reason, the fear and the courage. Virgo, this is the battlefield of your soul, and the stakes are higher than they appear. One part of you longs for safety, for the familiar patterns that, though restrictive, feel predictable. Another part burns with the knowledge that freedom demands risk, that silence is no longer survival but surrender. This tug of war is not weakness. It is proof that you are standing on sacred ground. The image is vivid. A cosmic rope stretched taut, one end tied to your old self, the other to your emerging truth. Each choice you make today pulls the rope in one direction. The struggle exhausts you because both forces are strong. Your logical mind insists on control, calculating every consequence. Your deeper knowing whispers of liberation, urging you to leap even when you cannot see the landing. And so you stand in tension, a soul stretched between what is and what must become. This war inside you is not random. It is the very test that defines the cosmic gate. The universe is not asking you to win through force, but through choice. Which voice will you allow to rise? Fear tells you that speaking your truth will cost relationships, stability, or approval. Courage tells you that silence costs your soul. One way or another, a price must be paid. The question is whether you will sacrifice your freedom to maintain appearances or sacrifice appearances to live in freedom. You may feel the weight in your chest, the racing of thoughts, the moments of doubt that come like waves. Yet remember, resistance always grows strongest before a breakthrough. This struggle is not evidence of failure, but of transformation. The energy pressing on you seeks to crack open what has been sealed too long. Virgo, the choice cannot be delayed. Will you continue letting others write the story of your life, or will you claim authorship with your own hand? The moment demands clarity. And to see how this battle plays out in lived experience, we turn now to the story of one who stood exactly where you stand, facing the invisible conflict and discovering the signs that confirmed the prophecy. She was a Virgo who had long walked the quiet path, moving through her days with discipline and loyalty, yet always under the shadow of someone else's control. Her partner spoke loudly, decided quickly, and expected her compliance as though it were carved into stone. For years, she obeyed, believing that peace meant silence, that harmony meant surrender. But inside, her soul was stirring. She began to feel restless, waking from dreams filled with symbols she could not explain. One night, she saw herself standing at a gate of light, and on the gate was the number 111 glowing like fire. She dismissed it, but the next morning the same sequence appeared on her phone, on a receipt, and even whispered through a song lyric in the street. The universe was speaking. The invisible conflict grew stronger. She wanted to honor her commitment, yet every fiber of her being screamed for liberation. The controlling words that once passed easily over her now cut deep, until she could no longer stay silent. Then came the turning point. After another attempt to silence her, she felt a surge rise like a wave within. With calm clarity, she looked into her partner's eyes and said, "No, that is not my truth." The room fell silent. Time seemed to pause, and for the first time she felt her voice reverberate like thunder through her own body. At that moment, she remembered a simple ritual she had once read. Light incense, breathe deeply, and release. She walked to the window, lit a stick of incense, and inhaled with intention. On the exhale, she imagined chains dissolving into smoke. She whispered softly, "I release control. I claim my freedom." The atmosphere shifted. The tension that once suffocated her became light. The result was not chaos, but peace. For the first time in years, she felt her body relax, her spirit expand. The control that had defined her life lost its grip in a single breath of truth. The moral is clear. Resistance is not rebellion when it is born from authenticity. It is liberation. And just as this Virgo discovered her power in the midst of oppression, so too can you. The question is not whether the signs are real. They are already present. The question is whether you will use them. To ensure that, the path forward is laid out in a practical protocol, a simple yet sacred way to apply the law of attraction and anchor this freedom into your daily life. Now it becomes practical, Virgo. The energy you feel is powerful, but without direction, it can scatter. The law of attraction gives you the framework to shape it, to transform raw intensity into aligned creation. The steps are simple, but their simplicity hides their depth. First comes clarity. You must decide what you truly desire, not what others have told you to want. Write it in the present tense as though it already exists. I live in freedom. My truth is honored. Let your words anchor your intention like roots pressing into soil. The second step is elevated emotion. Intention without feeling is like a seed without water. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and allow gratitude to rise as though what you wrote has already unfolded. Feel the lightness in your chest, the relief in your shoulders, the joy in your heart. For 2 minutes, imagine walking in this new reality. Not someday, but now. See yourself free, sovereign, unshaken. Your body does not know the difference between vision and fact. It aligns to the vibration you choose. The third step is aligned action. Take one small step today that mirrors your intention. If your declaration is freedom, act as a free soul would act. Speak honestly in a conversation, set a gentle boundary, or choose a decision that reflects self-respect. The action does not need to be grand, it only needs to be aligned. When action and intention meet, the current flows without resistance. The final step is release. After writing, feeling, and acting, let go. Burn the page safely or place it under a candle. Whisper, "I release control." Trust that the unseen has received your message. Control binds, release frees. Just as the waning moon invites surrender, this ritual seals your intention by opening your hands instead of clenching them. Protection anchors the practice. A salt bath cleanses lingering energies. Breathing in a 4-7-8 rhythm resets your nervous system. Light incense or a candle as a signal to your soul that you have entered sacred space. Close with a prayer or affirmation, not as begging but as claiming. This protocol is not theory. It is the doorway to embodiment. And once you step through, you will begin to see the confirmations all around you, the signs that tell you the work is alive and moving in your favor. How do you know when the current has answered you? The confirmations begin subtly, then build until they cannot be ignored. A shiver running down your spine in a quiet moment. Numbers repeating on clocks and screens, 111 for manifestation, 777 for spiritual alignment. Sudden clarity when confusion used to reign. A peace without reason that settles into your chest like soft light. These are not coincidences. They are signals that the universe has heard you and is weaving your intention into reality. For some, the signs appear instantly. For others, they arrive in dreams within 2 days, carried by symbols or voices that wake you with a sense of certainty. If you feel nothing in the moment, do not despair. The absence of sensation is not the absence of movement. Often the deepest shifts work silently, preparing the soil before the sprout breaks through. Trust that your ritual planted the seed, even if the harvest is not yet visible. Maintenance is essential. Freedom is not a single act, but a rhythm sustained daily. Each morning, take one deep grounding breath, speak one affirmation aloud, and commit to one aligned action. This simple trinity becomes your spiritual hygiene, keeping your vibration steady as the world around you fluctuates. Small consistency is more powerful than occasional bursts. There are also things to avoid in the hours after your alignment. Do not entangle yourself in unnecessary drama. Resist impulsive spending born from sudden highs. Guard your truth from oversharing with those who cannot yet understand. These actions drain the energy you just cultivated. Protect it as you would a sacred flame in the wind. When you recognize the signs, anchor them. Whisper gratitude when you see repeating numbers. Place your hand on your heart when chills arrive. Smile when a wave of peace washes over you. These acknowledgments seal the alignment, deepening the connection between you and the unseen. Now pause and declare publicly, "I claim my cosmic test." Commenting or speaking this decree out loud does more than mark agreement. It locks your intention into the collective field, where many voices create a wave too strong to be ignored. And as the signs continue to surround you, prepare yourself for the decree that closes this cycle, the final seal that no force can undo. You were never meant to live as if you were ordinary. The very struggles that tried to silence you were the proof of your calling, Virgo. Today, October the 4th, marked as the cosmic test, stands as a line carved into your destiny. You have faced the storm, walked through the silence, and risen in a moment when control could no longer hold you. The portal is open, and you are no longer the same. Remember who you are, not the servant of others' expectations, not the shadow hiding behind louder voices, but the sovereign soul who holds a blueprint of freedom inside. No chain can bind a spirit that has awakened to its own authority. This is the prophecy of Virgo's freedom. The moment when what was hidden is revealed, when what was silenced is spoken, when what was controlled breaks open like stone splitting to release light. Now comes the decree, spoken not as a wish, but as truth. Say it aloud with the force of your breath. I receive my breakthroughs. I walk in my abundance. I claim the freedom that cannot be taken. Let the words reverberate not only in the air around you, but in the marrow of your bones. Each syllable is a seal, each breath a contract with destiny. Do not let the world trick you into shrinking again. The control you once endured has lost its grip. The breakthrough is not fragile. It is eternal. The moment you spoke your truth, the moment you chose courage over fear, the line was crossed and cannot be erased. The universe has recorded it, and now every step forward will echo with the sound of sovereignty. Anchor it once more with action. Comment or declare, I see the signs. This is not superstition, it is alignment. Your decree joins with the voices of others walking this same path, weaving a net of light across the collective field. Together, these affirmations form a chorus that amplifies what each individual speaks, carrying your freedom further than you imagine. And so you leave this message not as the same person who entered, but as one who has crossed through a glowing gate. Behind you is the weight of silence. Before you, a horizon of light. The mountain is climbed, the portal entered, and the future waits with open arms. Virgo, you are free, and nothing can control you now.